Just before Go and Price picked up his first PDC titles, a younger, similarly muscular player who many felt had both the potential and drive to go right to the very top of the game won his first senior titles in the sport. He was Englishman Josh Payne from Kent, who many people thought just had the demeanour and look of a future Premier League player. And the hype around him was amplified as one of his biggest proponents was darts' most famous pundit and commentator Wayne Mardle, who is a very trusted figure within the sport. Josh did have a period of slight success in the PDC, but less than a decade after his first title win, he's now been away from the professional game for a decent amount of time with no explanation. Hello and welcome back to the Darts World channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the rise and then sudden and shocking fall of Josh Payne. Josh began playing darts competitively at a young age, and in 2010 and 2011, he was a part of the England teams that managed to win the boys' team titles at the WTF Europe Youth Cups in Germany and Scotland. Around this time, Payne also had success closer to home, and at age 17, he became the youngest winner of Kent's Men's Super League. 2013 also saw him pick up the Ballmaster honour at a soft tip event when he hit the soft tip ball 35 times in a row, getting close to the world record of 43. By that time though, he'd already begun to appear in the PDC on what was then called the Youth Tour a year earlier, showing that he was committed to steel tip, and in his debut season, he reached 2 finals, which he lost 4-2 to Adam Smith-Neal and Michael Smith. He finished the season 6th on the Order of Merit, tied with fellow future pro Keegan Brown. That result was good enough to earn him a 2-year tour card starting in 2013, as many of the players above him already had cards. In 2013, he could also play on the Challenge Tour, as at the time, anyone outside of the top 64 could play on it. At only the second Challenge Tour event, he won his first PDC title, beating Ralby John Rodriguez, who had won the previous event, in the final. A few months later, he made his Euro Tour debut at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy, where on debut, the then 19-year-old got what was described as a shock 6-2 win over a much more experienced Wayne Jones before being battered 6-1 by Dave Chisnell, despite averaging 100 himself, a crazy result. 2014 was the second year of his tour card, so he had to enter the top 64 if he wanted to keep it. He did manage to reach his first last 16 in a Players' Championship event, but he finished the year ranked 83rd, meaning he lost the card. However, away from the Players' Championships, he reached 4 finals on the Development Tour, winning his first one in September to pick up his first Development Tour title. Following that, Dan Dawson called him a very handy young player, and he clearly was one to watch over the following 2 years, as he actually managed to retain his tour card by finishing second on the Development Tour rankings. 2015 then saw Josh beat Wayne Jones on the Euro Tour again at the Dutch Darts Masters, but he then followed that up with an impressive 6-4 win over Stephen Bunting in a game where he was the big outsider. He was also the big outsider for his last 16 game against Michael Smith, but he managed to beat him 6-4 to move through to his first PDC quarter-final away from the secondary tours, which he then lost 6-4 to Justin Pipe. It was then around this time that Wayne Mardle first tipped Josh as a player he thought would have a massive future in the game, and it looked like Wayne was correct at the time, as he picked up his second Development Tour title early on in the year, and then not long after that, at Players' Championship 6, he beat Go and Price, Ronnie Hybretts, Wes Newton, Mentor Sulevic, Steve Brown and James Wade to pick up his first senior PDC title. This was a huge moment for him, and he showed great class in the deciding leg, taking out 116 when Wade was sat on tops. Following the win, Mardle wrote a column for the Sky Sports website where he said, "I told you so." He also said the following: "What does it for me is when people are different. It gives you an edge. It means you're not a conformist. You won't listen to those around you or let them bring you down." Payne is his own man. He looks after himself. He's not a fitness fanatic, but he wants to be fit and he looks the part. He's clean cut and he's got the composure that every good player needs. This composure can come and go. Adrian Lewis can sometimes look like he's got none, but when it comes, these players are hard to beat. Wayne added that he couldn't predict how far Josh would go in the game, but that he wouldn't be surprised if he was in the world's top 16 within 3 years. Josh's title win saw him qualify for the World Match Play for the first time, a huge moment for any player, but on the big stage, he averaged just 85 and was beaten 10-7 by Robert Thornton, who picked up his first Winter Gardens win. He also made his Players' Championship Finals debut, where averages in the mid-80s were enough to see him beat Mark Walsh and Barry Van Peer to reach round 3, where despite averaging just over 100, he was crushed 10-2 by a prime Van Gerwen. He then made the big one, his Ali Pali debut, but lost 3-1 to Terry Jenkins with a mid-80s average, despite having won the first set. His 2017 season was then much tougher, with the highlight on the senior tour being a second round Eurotour win over a rookie Rob Cross, meaning that he looked set to miss Ali Pali. But then, at the World Youth Championships, he went on a great run and whitewashed Kenny Nayans in the quarterfinals and beat Corey Cadby 6-3 in the semis to reach the televised final against Dimitri Van den Bergh, where the winner would get a World Championship spot. Dimi played brilliantly though and won 6-3 to claim the spot in a game where the Belgium averaged over 100 compared to the 92 of Payen. That run, however, secured Josh a Grand Slam debut for 2018, and in 2018 he got back on track, reaching the semi-final of Players' Championship 8, and then just a few events later he beat Steve West, Zoran Lurchbacher, Christian Kist, Mervyn King, Johnny Clayton, Ian White and Peter Wright to pick up a second Players' Championship title, another huge moment for him. He managed to win in a deciding leg against another legend in a final too. It was then time for his Grand Slam debut, and despite only winning one game in his group, he made it out by finishing ahead of Max Hopp and Jim Williams on leg difference. He then faced Gerwyn Price in a clash between two of the most muscly darts players ever, and Josh was in the game at the start and celebrating like Price right in front of him. Fans joked it was more of a bodybuilding-like and shouting contest than a darts match, but maybe that suited Payen as they went into a break at 5-all. But Gezi then won 5 legs in a row to get a 10-5 win, in which Josh finished with an average of just 84. His title win also ensured that he made a return to Ali Pali, and in his opening game against Jeff Smith, he picked up his first win on the biggest stage of them all, winning in the deciding set with an 87 average. He then incredibly went 2-0 up in sets on Dave Chisnall in round 2, winning all of the first 6 legs with an average of just under 110. But Chizzy then won 3 sets in a row to get a great comeback win, in which Josh's average slipped down below the 100 mark. It then looked like 2019 was going to be a good year for him, as at the first ranked major, the UK Open, he beat Jamie Bain, Kyle Anderson, Jamie Lewis and Simon Whitlock to reach his first major quarter-final. He ended up losing 10-7 to Rob Cross, despite averaging 97, which was 2 points more than Voltage. Following that game, Mardle tweeted the following: "I know he lost, but the difference in Josh Payen from when he made his World Matchplay debut in 2016 is immense. He's so improved. But he failed to show that improvement on the floor for the rest of the year and only reached one last 16. He did, however, do enough to reach the Players' Championship Finals, where he lost 6-4 to Adrian Lewis, having been 4-1 up. That game was followed by a heated square-off between the players. On that, Lewis said the following: "Me and Josh, we got on really well, and all of a sudden, I think with the crowd affecting him as well, he tried to take it out on me. I said to him, at the end of the day, it's not my fault the crowd are on my side. It's not my fault at all. It was a great game for the crowd and everyone else, but it's not my fault the crowd are on my side. It's about time." Josh also did enough to make it to Ali Pali, and he averaged 96 in the first round to get a 3-0 whitewash win against Diogo Portela. Despite upping that average by a point for round 2, he was then the one beaten 3-0 as Dimitri Van den Bergh averaged 103 to win a repeat of their World Youth final. Around this time, Josh revealed that he was struggling with personal issues, and it later came out that his girlfriend was ill with cancer around this time, which obviously would affect anyone's professional career. Then the tough COVID years also came around, and in 2020 he only made one last 16 and averaged 90.8 on the floor, the 67th highest on tour. Towards the end of the year though, he nearly made it to Ali Pali through the PDPA qualifier, but he lost in the deciding game to Matthew Edgar. However, his performance during the event meant that he would serve as the first reserve, and there was a high likelihood someone would pull out due to the pandemic circumstances. And that did happen when Martijn Kleermaker tested positive, but frustratingly, Payen also had to pull out as he came into close contact with someone with COVID, meaning that Cameron Carolison received a bye. 2021 then also saw him reach only one last 16 on tour, and his average fell even lower to 87.62, the 110th highest of 129 players to play more than 25 games. Following 2 very tough years, he was ranked 100th in the world, meaning he lost his tour card, which he had had for many years. He attempted to win it straight back at Q School, but over the 4 days, he averaged just 84 and only won 3 games, which was nowhere near enough. So he spent 2022 playing on the Challenge Tour, where he only reached one last 16, and in the early edition of the Modus Super Series, where he actually had some decent success. Speaking about the last few years during that season, he said the following: "It was hard, it was very hard. Family life comes first. My girlfriend Sally was ill, and darts took a step back. I was alright with that, to be fair. I know I can rebuild and go again. I'm probably playing better darts now than a year or 2 ago, so I'm happy where I am." After a non-spectacular year on the Challenge Tour, many were surprised when he won Day 3 of UK Q School in 2023 to regain a 2-year tour card. After that success, he said the following: "I believe in myself more than I did on the last 2 years on tour. I know I can do better than what I done when I won Pro Tours. I wasn't even at my best. I feel a lot better now, so hopefully I can kick on." So, did he push on? Well, the answer is no, as that year he averaged 88.54 on the floor, the 104th highest, and that fell even lower to 87.86 last year, the 124th highest. During those 2 years, he only made 2 Euro Tours, didn't make any majors except for the UK Open, and here you can see just how bad his Players' Championship results were, as he only made round 3 5 times in 60 events. During those seasons, he earned just £23,500, which saw him finish 96th on the rankings and lose his tour card again. He went to Q School at the start of this year, but only averaged 85 and won 4 games, so he lost his tour card, and we haven't seen him in any notable darts events since. Now, I want you to let me know what you think about Josh's career in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if there's any other players from the past you want me to cover. And if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please don't forget to subscribe, as it really helps the channel out, and currently just 15% of my viewers are. You can also hit the bell icon to turn on notifications so that you get notified as soon as I upload a brand new darts video.